Taking magic to the next level, especially trade show magic. If anyone's seen a trade show magician before, they are just masters at the up close magic and drawing a crowd, drawing those leads. But how do you take that to the next level? I am so excited because I have the master on today. He's a third time on Trade Show University. Scott Tokar, absolute master, and he is the owner of Corporate FX. Scott, welcome back to Trade Show U. How you doing?
It is always a pleasure and a privilege to be with you and your listeners. Thanks for having me on.
Absolutely, absolutely. So taking this to the next level, you've got the people around you. You drawing that crowd. They're waiting they're on the edge, seeing the magic. How do you take something to like that to the next level?
Well, the reason I wanted to chat with you today isn't just about magic because I'm sold on magic. That's what I've been
Yeah,
doing since 1992. So excuse me for my exuberance over my own profession. But there are many other ways that you can gather a large crowd in a trade show hall, in the exhibit itself. But the problem is, what do you do with a crowd once you've got them in the exhibit? So some of the things are this is what I call an action step. Because if I gather a crowd doing magic, you're going to see
mhm,
50, 100 people around me every half hour. Um, and Jim, you know those trade show scanners that you rent from the trade show?
absolutely. Yeah.
They're say if you really deal with these things, there's usually a little disappointment when you say, "Yeah, I'm kind of familiar with that," because they vary in quality and capability. Um,
Absolutely. Absolutely.
I was working with a trade show scanner in Amsterdam at the ROI, and this scanner they gave us was some sort of Android device, and it was using the barcode. You used the camera to get the barcode. So by the time you turned it on to say scan, and you put it up to someone's barcode and it focused, and then it captured, and then you said okay, and then you said go to the next scan and waited for it to focus. It was taking 30 seconds per badge to scan.
Oh,
Now, in a one-on-one conversation, if I'm doing a sales conversation with a really hot lead, that's not a problem at all. But when I have just 10 people, and remember, I'm looking to get 50, but if
yeah.
I have just 10 people, that's going to be minutes to get to the 10th person. And that the third person, after a minute and a half, is going to walk away. I cannot scan more than four people when it takes 30 seconds to scan each lead.
Hmm.
There are some that are better, but I don't have any control over what that scanner is. That's contracted with the show. Um, those lead scanners are super important. I'm not talking them down. Everyone should rent a lead scanner if you're in an exhibit, because the information you glean from scanning someone with that lead scanner is a lot more than just their name, email address, and phone number. Typically, when someone registers for their convention, they're answering questions like what their buying status is, what their business is like, how many employees they have. If you've registered for a badge, you know what I'm talking about.
Hmm.
That goes with that scanner. So when I scan someone, I'm getting really in-depth information about those people, which should help me when I'm doing my post-show follow-up. But parallel processing, when you have 50 people, I want to scan every single person at the exact same moment. And the way I'm doing that now is through gamification and a QR code. So when I do the magic, I'm explaining the features and benefits of the product. I've got the crowd involved. Now I need an activation step. So an activation step could be I want that entire crowd to follow me and sit down into a theater and listen to a PowerPoint slide or a guest that's going to present in that booth. It could be I want to activate them in a passport type promotion, where now they get a stamp for seeing my presentation, and they're going to go to another presentation either in the booth or at another booth, sometime a sister booth or a co-op marketing booth, and they get stamps, and then they're going to get a
Mm.
prize for doing that. But they won't do that unless I tell them about it. So my activation step is like that. But so often it's I just want to collect the leads for quantification. So by holding up a QR code, getting them all to scan it at once, and on their phones, they can play a game. They can spin a wheel, and it'll tell them what prize they just won. In most cases, it's going to be a small prize that you would have given out to everybody. It could
Mhm.
be a pen. It could be a koozie. It could be, something nice. Yeah, there's some nice small tchotchke giveaways. But then they might win a drone. So the game, we set the drone to 1 in 1,000, and the pens are one, 1 in 999, or
Yeah.
one
Yeah.
nine. Everybody gets one. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
one almost.
Yeah.
So they play, but in order to redeem it, they have to answer some questions. So on the form on their phone, name, email address. Sometimes it's phone number, sometimes not. My client tells me what they want on there. But I also ask for some qualifying questions, and I'll wait to get to that with you because I want to talk to you about the difference between quantification and qualification. But by doing this with everybody at the same time at the end of my presentation, it takes 30 seconds to scan 100 people.
Mhm.
So I can deliver to my client more people, more scans, more numbers. Make
That's perfect.
sense?
Oh, absolutely. I love that idea because you've got them, and to take them to the next step, whether they're going to win something or they have to do this to keep going. So it's not like something that maybe I'll stick around and maybe I'm not really interested in this or that. No, they're going to keep going because you've got them on the edge. And to go to that next step, they have to scan this. And I love the fact that you say you're going to be adding some qualification questions because that's the key right there. That's the
Right,
key
right.
to
So,
us. Yeah, I'll let you go
so,
now.
so
Yeah.
people always say, well, not always, but many people say in trade shows, I don't need every single lead. I want only the qualified leads. And they'll look at something like what I'm doing and pulling a very large crowd, and they'll say that's great for some booths, but we don't need quantity, we need quality. Let me tell you, you need both. If your job is titled something like trade show coordinator, marketing manager, exhibit manager, something like that, there comes a time when you're in job performance review with your superior, with your, the next level up, and they're going to review how well you and your marketing did that year. Interesting thing is, most of the people that are doing that job performance review with you, they don't really understand trade shows. So they're going to take whatever measurement number you tell them that is important, and they're going to judge you against your own measurement number. So give them a measurement number that looks awesome. And that makes you look good. It gives you job security. And if you're reviewing after each show, like you've gone to this show and you're going to review, it now gives you a show by show. Like last year, we had 500 scans. This year, we had 600 scans. That improving helps them see that you're doing your job better. Now, listen, we're away from the trade show floor. I'm not even talking about the sales here. I'm talking about job survival here. So, quantity is an important number, although in the end, sales may not necessarily be that. But let's get to quality now.
Yeah.
So, the qualifying questions, I want to ask multiple choice questions at the end of the name, email address, company. Question number one is going to have maybe four choices, A, B, C, D, and it's going to help me qualify. Like, are you currently using a widget such as ours? Yes or no? Or what widget are you using?
Hmm.
Next, my budget is this. You decide with these questions, but
Right.
the third question, and there shouldn't be more than three. This is hyper important. Yes, comma, I'm so excited. I need to speak to someone next week. Have a salesperson call me. Yes or no? That's pretty in your face.
Yeah,
I'm really literally asking them, do you want us to call you next week? If anyone is insane enough to say yes to that question, they've self-identified as a hot lead. And here's
absolutely.
what's amazing. When we do this on a trade show floor, we've seen 5 to 10% of those responses say yes to that question. Those are people that would have, in any other way, walked away from the booth at the end of your activation, at the end of your promotion, at the end of whatever you did to gather that crowd, and you would never have known that they were a hot lead. Those people that say yes to that question immediately go into salesforce.com or whatever your CRM, whatever your
Hmm.
sales follow-up after the trade show is.
Yeah,
Make sense?
absolutely makes sense. Yeah, because you've now have gotten you've given the whoever's doing those follow-ups, they now have everything they need to move forward confidently without having to go through number after number after number. Oh no. Oh, who are you? What did I exact?
Right.
Yeah.
Now, remember I mentioned that the really strong data resides in the scanning of a badge.
Hmm.
Um, you know that in some shows, not every show, but in some shows, they allow me to buy that data outright. I can buy the mailing list pre or post show. If I take my list of the people that scanned and I match it in an Excel spreadsheet against the purchased list, I get both pieces of data. I know that these people saw me, they answered these two questions, said yes or no, and I've got all that other data that I would have gotten only from a scan.
Mm.
So I now can even market better to that particular group. But regardless, the moment they push enter on the form, they immediately get a thank you email from us. Thank you for stopping by Widget Co. today. And they go directly into a drip marketing campaign. So if you're not familiar if with a drip marketing campaign, I know most of the Trade Show University folks are, but essentially it's just a timed email set. So 3 days after the trade show, they get another email from the company saying, here's the information that we promised to send you, some video links, whatever else. Then a week after that, I just want to make sure you had an opportunity to see the information we sent you last week. Then a month later after that, hey, it's been a month since we contacted you. Just want to see if there's anything we can answer. Here's the link to click. Then 3 months after that, hey, it's been a long time since we've spoken to you. But you do this, and then you get into pre-show marketing from a post-show list. So the literally you start marketing in reverse. Like, don't forget to stop at our booth this year, which is the year following the show that you
Yeah,
gathered that lead from. And because they are all
absolutely.
familiar with you already.
Right.
So this gathering of this information, maybe they weren't in a buying position a year ago when they saw you last time. But as you get into the pre-show marketing, you're encouraging them to come by, which is going to increase your numbers on the trade show floor. It's going to encourage them to remember you and see what's new.
And you're effectively creating a 365 day a year marketing campaign and from one show, from one
Right,
show,
right,
yeah,
right, right,
right
right,
into the next show. That's awesome. That's
right.
awesome.
But the key here for me, and the reason I even started coming up with this and really started working with other companies to do this, is because for me, there's always that sales. People hire me one time, and they're like, "Well, we don't know if we're going to hire you again next year." I mean, that's
Mhm.
fair. You got to
Sure.
see whether or not this works for you. I'm talking about my trade show magic right now.
Hmm.
So I had to come up with a way that I can show the quantity and quality of the leads that I'm pulling to that booth. So
Yeah.
it all of this knowledge that I'm sharing right now is self-preservation. Because if I can show the person that's hiring me, they're going to hire me again. But just as I said earlier, this is job performance review or show performance review for you too. Same
Mhm.
thing holds true to you. The more data that we can deliver to whoever's hiring us, whoever's paying us, your boss or my client, it's going to help us get more of it and stay in business longer.
Oh yeah. And I truly believe our companies that are paying, ultimately paying, if it's the higher ups above that, anyone who's hiring you, they want data. They don't want just they don't want just hearsay. They don't want, oh yeah, it was a great show, or I don't know, that corporate FX, that's kind of a lot of money that we spent last year, and I don't know if we want to spend that money again until they go, oh, but look what they brought in for us last year. They brought
Eh,
in five times more qualified leads than we had the year before. Yeah,
Precisely,
yeah,
precisely. So when they don't hire us, they say, "Oh, we were not going to afford it." Then they see the numbers go down that far.
yeah.
Then the third year, they're back with us immediately. It's interesting because, like in some of the farming shows that we do, the agricultural shows that we do,
Mhm.
they don't wear badges,
Oh, okay.
so you can't scan something at these shows, and they haven't necessarily been super concerned about gathering that marketing information. They might say, well, the seats were filled for every presentation, or they might say we gave away X amount of giveaways to give them their quantification. But it's really interesting when you actually thank people for coming to the booth with even a single email. It's amazing the lift up and recall that they have for which increases your whole marketing of being at a trade show.
Yeah, yeah, and you're right. Yeah, there are times when people don't have a badge on them, or the scanner isn't working correctly or anything, but you get them to scan that QR code, and you've got probably a real good chance of getting 100% participation with that, and correct participation, so that you're making sure that they're giving you the information that you're looking for. Something else that you said that I love is that it shortcuts what you have to do. I've been many, many times the show planner, the marketer, the person in charge of bringing the exhibit together. My first thing when I get back is making sure I get that list into our CRM. Now, you've automated that process through this, and you could have that QR code immediately linked to Salesforce or whatever the CRM is. I love that. I love that part
Right.
of it.
Right. So let me share with the listeners real quick some of the things that I'm doing here. I include when you hire corporate effects. When you hire us, we're working with you on action steps. We're working with you on this lead gathering. I can generate the crowd, but now we need to so we deliver that. It's part of our package. If you don't want to hire a magician, then here are some resources for you. We've done a lot of work with Captello. It's
Mhm.
Captello, captello.com. They do gamification, kind of what I'm talking about here. That's what they do. And they will help you build a game and help you do this so that it's not a complex thing for you to come up with how am I going to do this? All right.
Yeah.
If you're more of a do-it-yourself type, you can make forms. If you go on Google and you type in form generator, you're going to come up with companies that make forms that you can do a survey or a form with.
Hmm.
And now all you have to do is get a QR code to go with it, and you can build this yourself. You don't need to pay tons of money, but if again that does take a little bit of programming smarts, a little bit of
Sure.
knowledge to how to do it so that it's going to come across. So you can hire us and we'll do it for you, or like I say, my friends over at Captello, they can do it too.
Yeah. We'll make sure we put links to all this into the show notes or the description. So make sure you're checking out that. Uh, when you when you're working with clients like this, and you're trying to justify, okay, here's what we're going to be doing. How do you get them on board with all of this and showing them, hey, this really works. This really is going to be what you need to take this to the next level.
Well, for the last year and a half, we've been testing this out, and we have just given it to our clients. at even the lowest package prices. We have different
Okay.
levels of
Sure.
service that you can order from corporate effects.
Hmm.
So, we bring this in our mid-level package as a free package turnkey thing. But even in our lowest packages for the last year and a half, we were giving this out just to make sure that we had legs on this thing.
Hmm.
And so we actually supply a drone, and so when they're hiring us, they know they've got the form and the drone giveaway. And it's amazing that when I give it to a customer, they're very apt to do it. It's like, wow, why not? It's
Yeah.
free. And it's interesting now they're asking for it. Our customers are now asking for this service because it's proven to them that it gives their numbers that higher, the quantification and the qualification numbers are higher.
Yeah. Wow.
Did I
I'm
sort of
sure.
answer your question? Did I
Yeah,
dance
yes, you
around that like
did.
a
Well, it's
politician?
proven. It's proven. And I'm sure you got a lot of people's wheels spinning right now as to, whoa, first of all, how do we gather a crowd? Because it's hard enough for us to gather one person at a time. But how do we gather a crowd? And there's obviously, someone like Scott uh, is just the math. Like I said, I've said this a few times, but the master. You are so good at drawing that crowd. There's other ways that you can get people, whether it's 100 people or if it's just three or four people at a time, it's better than one. It's better
Now,
than one.
this is interesting because in obviously I'm a salesman, so I'm talking about objections to potential clients of mine all the time.
Hmm.
If you're going to hire, I love caricature artists. They're great. Good luck to you. But it's going to take 5 minutes to do a good caricature.
Sure.
Maybe you could get it down lower, but I'm just going to use 5 minutes for a number thing here. How many 5 minute intervals do you have in a minute? You have
What?
12.
Oh, in an hour. Okay.
Right.
Yeah. Okay.
And,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. I
Five,
was gonna
five
say,
minute
wait a
interval.
minute. That's magic
Five
right
minute.
there.
That's what I mean. Yeah. So what I'm saying is that
Yeah.
I can only get, because of linear processing, my problem with some promotions is that they're linear. If it takes time to make a cappuccino, if it takes time to do a caricature, if it takes time to put a patch onto a hat, um, that time for each one of those needs
Hmm.
to be considered to max out how many people you can expect to get leads from.
Yeah.
So you can put in multiple stations. I could have three caricature artists and triple that potential, or three cappuccinos, and but with a live presentation, magic, again, that's what I do
Hmm.
unabashedly. I can get 100 people, and in that same 10-minute presentation that I do with everybody, that's 100 people within 10 minutes, and then I do it again in a half hour. So the parallel versus the linear processing isn't just the slowness of a scanner. It's also sometimes the slowness of the promotion that you're doing. So if you're going to be at a big trade show, if there's a lot more, it's not a hotel size show where people will spend, half an hour in your booth waiting in line. Um, you got to do something to entertain them all, to get them educated all at the same time.
Yeah, yeah, take advantage. Sure, quick story. I was at a very large show a few years ago, and the booth next to us had a spinning prize wheel, which they had a line of people waiting because they were giving away a lot of prizes, and
Yeah,
every person that spun got something. And I saw people coming up, they spun, they gave away a prize, and I kept watching. They weren't scanning badges, they weren't gathering business cards. They weren't qualifying. They weren't asking for anything. They were just giving away prizes. And I'm like, oh, what? What's going
right.
on?
When you
Why are you doing this?
when you have an author that's going to sign books or
Yeah.
spin the wheel promotion, without a doubt, you need to put your sales staff in that line to
Yeah.
talk with the people as they wait, to take notes, and you have time to physically scan with the purchased or rented scanner from the show.
Mhm.
If you're not doing that, you are leaving the leads, the sales on the table.
Yeah.
You never qualified, you never answered their objections. You never pointed them to the new thing that you're showing off. Wow, that's a waste, isn't it?
Oh, is a huge waste. Yeah, you're basically taking a big pile of cash, giving it to the show promoter and saying, "Here you go." And then we'll see you next year. But not getting anything in return. Scott, the getting people thinking in this new way is just fantastic. I absolutely love everything that you've said here today, and you've got me thinking of new ways that we can go about doing this. As we kind of turn the corner here, wrap up, what are the main one, two things you really want people to take away from our conversation?
Well, I would say you don't want to just advertise at a trade show, just blankly say, here's our new product and let the people go. You got to activate that audience. You need to give them a step. You attract them and you want to do something with them. Sit them in the seats to listen to a trade show presentation on PowerPoint or do that passport promotion or get them to spin a wheel maybe afterwards.
Hmm.
Something. I want to do something with that. So activate your audience. You want to have them flow through your exhibit. Tell them where to go, that kind of thing. Numbers help you justify your show budget and your own job. So remember, collect that data. It's quality is absolute important for your salesforce.com, for your Salesforce, but for your own job security and for the marketing budget of next year's show, give yourself the quantity as well and get that number up there, you know? And I'm sure I've heard you say this a million times on the podcast. You want to follow up with these folks immediately.
Hmm.
If you're not following up, again, you're leaving stuff on the table. So an email goes out immediate as soon as they are scanned, and it goes out in a drip marketing campaign to follow up, soon and often.
Yeah, yeah, so good. Take the time before the show, set up that whole follow-up sequence that you have automated, so you don't even have to think about it. It automatically starts going. They're getting hit at the right time with the right message that you prepared in advance, that is just going to bring them right back to your booth. And remember that magic trick they saw, or that demo they went through, or whatever it was that you had them go through. If you do this effectively, it's going to not only save you time, it's going to be so much more effective than just waiting a week and then all of a sudden you got your staff calling and oh my gosh, no. But Scott, this was a master class today in taking our leads to the next level, how to get those numbers up and do it in such an effective manner that doesn't have to rely on my scanner that may or may not work or not going to work quickly enough or any of that. So great. If people want to know more about learn about parallel processing or just find out what you're doing there at Corporate FX, what's the best way for them to do that?
Well, come see the videos on our website. It's corporatefx.com. So it's corporate and then the letter F and the letter X. So corporatefx.com.
Outstanding. And I will put links to all that. So check for that. Visit Scott if you've never experienced him, go check the videos and you'll see how powerful it is and hear his clients just rave about what they've been able to do with his work and his team. So Scott, thank you again for coming on here and expanding our minds, sprinkling a little bit of magic in there as well and getting us thinking in whole new ways. Really appreciate this.
Thank you, Jim.
All right. And everyone, keep coming back, keep binging, keep learning, getting better. And we'll see you next time here on Trade Show U.